on fiveeyes.tv. Today I'll be speaking with Cheryl Kelly, who is a businesswoman, entrepreneur, trainer, motivational speaker and the director of Turnel shipping services. Cheryl, welcome to fiveeyes.tv.
Thank you so much.
Cheryl, I'd like to start off with you telling me about your background. Just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a Jamaican, as you know. I grew up in a small village. My early life started in Roehampton, which is a small village in St. James. And I went to a primary school in my early days. Very good background. I started off first at a little basic school way up in the hills. And my earliest recollections of school was really being under a guango tree at that time with a little pointer stick. And after lunch, I would go with the children in the back and rehearse the 1, 2, 3s and the ABCs. That's my earliest recollection of school. I enjoyed my early school years. I went on to primary school, and from there, I went on to an elite prep school in Montego Bay, Catholic prep school. That was my early education. I went on to high school, still got involved in a lot of drama, in a lot of things that involve speaking, elocution contests. I was a very good elocutionist, top of the class, did a lot of athletics, very good runner. You wouldn't know now, but in my early days I ran quite a bit.
Oh,
and gosh. I actually got that from my mother. She was a very good athlete in her days as well. And then I finished high school and went on to the College of Arts, Science and Technology, where I studied business administration, and from there entered into the field of shipping.
Right, well that fits in nicely to the next question I was going to ask you about Turnel shipping services. How did you become involved?
Well, Turnel shipping services is a family-owned business. My father and my brother started it probably about 10, 15 years before I got into it. And it was quite by accident that my father got the agency in Montego Bay for this shipping agency. And when I finished college, they were looking for a marketing representative at the time to grow the business in Montego Bay. And so I went to the parent company in Kingston, did a short stint with them. I was supposed to have been with them for a year, Jamaica Freight and Shipping, but within 3 months there was a threat of a competitor coming into the Montego Bay market, and I was transferred from Kingston into Montego Bay to assist with the marketing, and that's how I started.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Now I'm looking at you and I'm thinking you've got your hand in so many different pies, and I'm sure marketing was very good, but how did you find that, the marketing side of things?
Well, I studied marketing in college, and I would say that I am a natural marketer. I enjoy speaking to people. I enjoy engaging people. I actually enjoy doing presentations. Speaking about a business, I got to learn the shipping business very well, and because I worked with a small company, I learned the different aspects. I learned the operational aspects, I learned the accounting aspects, and I learned how to deal with people at different levels. And so when I had to go on the road to speak to people, I could bring a lot to the table because I was knowledgeable about the business.
Yeah, you sound like a jack of all trades.
Yes. And so, marketing in shipping is a little different from selling a product because it's more about relationships. You're going to see a client and you sit with that client, and sometimes you don't even talk anything about shipping. You're talking about everything else, but it's about building relationships. Yes.
Right, and that's what I could see. But by just looking at you and talking to you, you can see that you're a people's person, really.
I am. I definitely am.
Okay, as well as the shipping business, you've started motivational speaking.
I have.
How did that happen?
Well, I mentioned very early that earlier on in the interview, that from I was in basic school, I used to like to do, show the children or teach them the ABCs and be the one to use the pointer from those days under the guango tree. And when I was in prep school, I had a strong desire to be a teacher. that's the only thing I wanted to be. I wanted to be a teacher very badly.
Is that why you used to go behind 1, 2, 3
Yes.
with the other children?
Yes, yes. I always enjoyed doing that. And as I got into high school, though, and became more aware, I heard that teachers didn't really make a lot of money. And I also wanted to make some money. So I somehow switched and decided that, okay, I wouldn't pursue teaching, but it wasn't a very informed decision, because you don't necessarily have to be in a classroom if you don't want to. And if you have the gift to teach or to impart information, there are so many other ways to impart. You can lecture, you can do training, you can do speaking, you can do presentations. But I wasn't aware of that. I thought that being a teacher only meant that you went to school and probably got a lot of trouble from children. And I didn't want that. And so I kind of diverted a little bit, went into business. But this thing about teaching, every time I've been in any club, any church association, and even within my own industry, I find that I'm always drawn to that era. People are always asking me to do presentations. I'm always asked to lead a group with something and to facilitate the process. And after a number of years, I sat down one day and it just wouldn't leave me. I'm drawn, really drawn to this thing. And I said I would start my own company, and I would start, I was concerned about children in the first instance, and their lack of knowledge, or just not being able to decide where they want to be, what they want to do, and how to bridge the gap between a student and being a professional, how to position themselves, how to sell themselves. A lot of students I found, they had good qualifications, they had their O-levels, but when it came to sitting down and speaking about who they are and what they can do, even with their narrow experience, they didn't know
what direction,
quite how to put themselves across, how to package themselves. And I started voluntarily going into the schools in Montego Bay.
How long ago was this?
That I've been doing that now for probably at least 5 years. And I would offer myself on a volunteer to go in and give little talks on job readiness, and it started there. I have done a number of mini presentations to them on, just being a professional, talking about your skills, the interview questions that you're likely to be asked, and how you would deal with each one. And I quite enjoyed that. And from there, persons have asked me, each time you speak, somebody hears you and they would recommend you to come, and, I've spoken in churches, and then it went from there to, I decided to use my knowledge of the shipping industry and to offer courses on training shipping clerks, in shipping documentation, in the procedures that are used. And so I decided to coin my experience in shipping as well and offer these training courses. And that has gone quite well. I've done a number of shipping companies in Montego Bay.
Oh, excellent.
And yes.
So you've done your teaching, really, haven't you?
Yes, I've been teaching. And that has gone pretty well. I've developed customer service programs for various companies, leadership, adapting to change. Right now in Jamaica, we're going through a lot of changes. And while money will not allow you to, not many companies can use money or have the money to motivate their staff, and yet you want to have this balance where staff can see that there is more to working than money. And so I have developed programs that would encourage or show staff how they may adapt to the changes that are going on, and in fact use their jobs, use their situations as stepping stones to what they really desire to become. Because my passion really is to empower persons.
And I can see it.
Yes. And I want to empower them in accordance with their natural abilities. A lot of it comes through identifying what you're really suited for. And then through discipline, through commitment, through practice, they can then, put that, whatever they're made to do, whatever their purpose is, into something that is purposeful and offer it. And when you're working like that, something that you enjoy doing, something that you were made to do, and it comes with all the enthusiasm and the passion, then you can get real results and you can be successful.
So if someone wanted to get in touch with you, to go on one of your courses, what would they do? Where would they go?
Well, I'm simply Cheryl Kelly, and my email is turnship, TURNSHIP, @cwjamaica.com.
And do you have courses ready-made, or do you adapt them to suit each individual? How do you operate?
Well, with the clients that I've done, they would come, they'll put a scenario to me, and they'll say, this is what we're experiencing. And I will look at the information, I look at the audience, I will look at those who I'll be speaking to, and I will come up with a program, I will come up with a presentation for that audience. So it's really very audience specific. There are a number of presentations that I have already made, but each audience is different.
Different,
so
that's right,
most times you have to tailor it
Yeah.
to suit the particular audience that you'll be speaking with.
Right, is this just limited to the people in Jamaica, or have you thought about doing this internationally?
Absolutely not. I really enjoy sharing, facilitating and training, and so wherever throughout the Caribbean, internationally, that's my playground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we started this interview, you mentioned an organisation to me that you are part of. Can you elaborate more on it, please?
Well, I'm a Toastmaster and I enjoy the experience. Toastmaster is an international club. Was started many years ago, I think over 80 years ago, and it really develops your communication and leadership skills. The only way to really develop your leadership and communication skills is to really play the part. So if you want to be a communicator, you must keep communicating.
That's right.
You must keep speaking. And it does that in a non-threatening environment where you have evaluations that are done and you're taught how to evaluate and you are taught how to receive evaluation, because you can only grow if you know where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. And so I have found it to be a wonderful tool in developing my speaking skills. And on the leadership level, to the extent good leaders or good communicators also make good leaders.
Definitely, I agree 100%.
That's right. And so it's important that you understand how to work with people. You get to understand how to work with people. You get to understand people in themselves, what motivates them, what moves them, you know, how to get the group to kind of do what you would like the group to do without, you know, imposing too much on them.
This is Paulette on FiveEyes.tv speaking with Cheryl Kelly. We'll be back shortly.
Now this is a message to the world.
I'm from the city of Montego Bay in Jamaica, beautiful tourist city. When you want to have fun, when you want to have relaxation, when you just want to get away, Montego Bay is the place to be. I live, I work, I take care of my family in this wonderful city. The children enjoy it tremendously. It's a resort town, so there's lots of beaching. For them, the movies is an excitement. And it is not too much of city life that they grow up too fast. It is still a little laid back, so they can grow at a normal, childlike pace. I do enjoy Montego Bay significantly. We are developing at a very fast rate. Just put in a brand new park in the heart of the city. There's good nightlife if you want on the hip strip of Montego Bay, which offers you many Jamaican restaurants and nightlife and fabulous beaches. We also have a lovely strip of hotels if you are ever thinking of coming for a convention or having a retreat or a family get-together. Montego Bay and its hotels have a lot to offer. Excellent golfing at many of our hotels, tennis, food, nightlife. It is absolutely the place to be if you are coming to Jamaica.
So how long are the Toastmaster sessions?
Well, in our club, our meetings typically run for between an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting meeting. We start off with a business segment where we give information on what Toastmasters is all about to our guests, how it started, and some of the benefits. And then there are various roles that are played. We call them functionary roles. We have what they call a timer, the counter, and the grammarian. And these roles, we have these roles in these clubs so that each speaker, there's, you know, a lot of people like to talk and they talk forever, but the timer guides your speech. In
Okay,
terms
I
of
was going to
how
ask you
long
about the time limit
you
on
will
the
speak,
speeches.
and it helps you to speak within specific times. You have the R counter. There's a lot of crutches that we use in our speeches, the R's and the M's, and so you are made aware of that, so you can do less of that and your speeches can be flawless.
Yeah.
And then the grammarian obviously helps to correct any grammatical errors that one might make, and pronunciation of words, and helping in a fun way to boost your
Sounds
vocab.
good.
Yes.
It's not like learning, is it?
And the biggest part and the best part that I find is in doing the speeches, because we do speeches, we do presentations, is a world of learning. I have learned so much from my fellow Toastmasters. Views that you would not necessarily have sat and thought about yourself. And just a whole lot of information that comes to you, nutrition, your diet, wellness, and other inspirational areas of beauty. And I find that rather interesting.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
It is.
And fascinating.
It is.
To be quite honest.
Yes.
So how long ago did you get involved with Toastmasters?
I got involved with Toastmasters about 3 years ago, and quite by accident. I was reading the newspaper one day and I saw this press release on a club celebrating an anniversary, and I said, gosh, when I read what it was all about, I said, this sounds to be something like what I would be interested in. And I Googled it. I found the companies, the clubs in Jamaica that were offering the Toastmasters program, and one of the Toastmasters says, incidentally, we're having a conference in Kingston. It would be a good time to come over and see what we're all about. And so I hopped on the Knoxford Express, which is a luxury liner that takes you from Montego Bay to Kingston, packed my suitcase, and I went to the conference. I didn't know anybody, but it was quite an experience. And really, it really plunged me into the experience. I saw speakers that really had me on the edge of my seat. They spoke well, they spoke flawlessly, and I really, really enjoyed listening to them. And I said, yes, this is something that will really be good for my personal development. And so I became a Toastmaster right then and there.
So how long has the company been going?
Well, the Toastmasters International, as I said, has been over 80 years in existence.
Over 80? Over
80 years, yes.
Wow.
In Jamaica, I'm not sure how long. We have had clubs in Jamaica, but it's well established, especially in Kingston. In Montego Bay, where I'm from, we only have one club. And they attempted to start it years ago. That club didn't quite get off the ground, but we are the Western Knights, and we intend to be a force to be reckoned with and to be here for a long, long time.
You sound like a very busy woman. So can you tell me about yourself as a businesswoman, entrepreneur?
Well, as a business person, my daily job involves running a shipping agency. It's an import-export company. We are an agent. We represent the Jamaica Producers Shipping Company, which is out of the UK. So I have quite a bit of English connections. And we also represent companies out of New York and out of Florida. It's an interesting business. On our day-to-day business, a lot of interaction with clients, bringing in their stuff. We deal with a lot of Jamaicans who are sending goods back to Jamaica. We handle the paperwork. We are not brokers. We facilitate the consolidators who pack the containers, send them into Jamaica, and then we liaise with the customs and the various authorities, the port, the warehouse, to make sure that the goods are properly warehoused, and then we will release them to their clients when they come in. In a nutshell, that is a part of the business. On another level, we handle ships that come into the port of Montego Bay. Handling, meaning we do ship husbandry. To break that down a little further, when the vessel comes into port, we are responsible for making all the arrangements with respect to, again, the authorities, ordering the pilot, ordering the immigration, making sure that customs is aware that the vessel is on, and being the link while the vessel is in port between the owners or the charterers, and we make sure that everything is going well with them while they're in our port. It's a very exciting job.
I was going to say, it sounds really interesting.
Yes. And we handle cruise ships.
I was just about to ask you about cruise ships.
We handle cruise ships. We handle what they call trampers. They have no set it doesn't go from a set port to a set port. Wherever they get the call, they will go. We handle petroleum vessels and mainly cargo vessels.
Wow.
And so on. It's been doing it for a number of years. As I said, my father owned the business. He taught me the business. He taught my brother the business. At one time, my whole family was involved in the business. But right now, I'm the only one in my family that is involved in the shipping business.
I'd like to know a little bit more about the cruise ships.
Yes.
What did you have to do with the ships?
As I said, every ship that goes into a port
Yeah.
needs an agent.
Yeah.
And that's internationally.
Yeah.
So whether you're docking in the UK or you're going to dock in Japan or Jamaica, you'll have an agent. And that agent is responsible for the operation. We liaise with the captain of the vessel, and we're responsible for the needs that she has while she's in port. Whether it's bunkering, fueling that vessel, we'll order the bunkers, the request that we get from the captain or our principal to bunker her. It could be when they come, there may be a sick passenger or a crew member on board.
Yeah.
We would organize taking them to the hospital or to see a doctor.
Because it's very involved, isn't it?
Yes.
So what happens if somebody's late coming back to the cruise ship?
There have been incidences. It depends on when the captain needs to go to the next port. If they can wait, they wait. But each person has a responsibility to make sure. We don't really work with the crew. We work with we don't work with the passengers.
No.
Our responsibilities with the crew, the captain and the mates coming down. And they might be left if the captain has to get where he has to get.
Yeah, otherwise, would penalties be imposed?
I don't think so. I guess they'll have to catch a ship at the next port because they're running to schedule and everybody knows what the schedule is. If they're to leave the port at 5 o'clock, then it's 5 o'clock and you're properly briefed, I would imagine, by the vessel, so you would know what time you're leaving. But we make the arrangements. There are arrangements that has to be made coming into the port, and similarly there are arrangements that must be made going out of the port. And so the agent we have a very, very significant responsibility. Time is of the essence. You have to be precise with what you're doing. They have a day in port, the cruise ships, for instance, and you have to be very precise in terms of the requests that you're asked and handle them expeditiously.
Gosh, that seems like a lot on your shoulders, isn't it?
It is, but you learn the business and you become competent.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I can see you know it inside out.
I've been doing it for many years. Yes.
So Cheryl, how do you relax?
How do I relax? I like to read, and this is relaxing for me actually.
Oh, good.
I do enjoy talking. I enjoy friends. I enjoy being I enjoy being stimulated by a good conversation. I like politics. I like to talk about it. I wouldn't necessarily be a politician. I like to play Scrabble. I like to play Monopoly. And I like to go by the beach. I don't like it too crowded and relax. I like shopping. I like being with my family. And I like nature. I grew up as a country girl. I enjoy driving out, looking at the hills. And those are just part of what forms my relaxation.
I was going to say, for a country girl, you've done very well in life.
I have. I wasn't brought up as a country girl in the true respect of a country girl. But my father was a very ambitious man, and he really tried to ensure that his children got a good education, and he really encouraged us to reach for the stars.
Excellent. So, who inspires you or inspired you? I always like to ask this question because...
Honestly, my inspiration is from above, from God. I am a spiritual person, and I do engage in... The Bible is a wonderful book. I get a lot of inspiration from the Bible, and I believe that my gift is really from above. And I can't run away from it. I can't get away from it. I can't hide, and I know it's from above.
It seems, because you seem to come back to the same thing every time.
Yes.
From the early days,
Yes.
the middle,
Yes.
and, now.
Yes.
So...
It's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
It really is my passion, and more so when you do a presentation, I'm always looking for what people get from it. And the most rewarding thing is when somebody will come up and say, I never saw it from that perspective,
view,
but I
yeah.
feel that I can do it now.
Yeah.
And that for me means more than anything else. You know, just to see people who, you know, okay, well, I'm not sure if I can do this thing, I didn't know, or, you know, I see it from a different perspective. And it's not that I'm always looking from a different perspective, but I always bear in mind who I'm going to be speaking with, and I try my best to say what it is that would make a difference, really make a difference,
yeah.
not on a superficial level, but putting my own self in that experience.
Yeah.
Yes, and I really don't engage in presentations that I'm not fully passionate about.
Yeah,
that
you have no interest. It's not the same.
No,
No.
and that I have no experience in.
Yeah.
So when I speak
From the heart.
From the heart, and I think it makes all the difference, because something
Yeah.
that I feel, it's something that I know, and it's something that I understand.
Yeah, no, and I have to agree with you, because even speaking with you, I can see you're very, very passionate, and you're the type of person that would put someone at ease, and I could see them just spilling everything out to you.
Thank you.
You know, that's the persona that you have.
Thank you.
You know, Cheryl, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for the
Thank
insight.
you too. My pleasure.
By the time you said you were under the tree, one of the things I should have asked you what a panga tree was.
Oh,
That's what I should have asked you.
Because Jamaica, we know what the guango. You know what a guango tree is, right? You know
What's
the
a guango tree? Yeah.
And so you know the guango, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna.
It's a big shady tree.
I really
Yeah.
don't know what a guango tree is.
Let me tell you, the typical scenery of a basic school is the classrooms are hot. So after lunch, a lot of children will go out. Well, the teacher take you out under the tree. A lot of learning. You experienced that when you were
Is that where
growing up?
Is that where the lunatic?
Your timetables under the guango tree, that is in primary school, you would do a lot of activities. Teacher would take you out of the classroom and you go under the tree and sit down, whether on the rock, on the lawn or whatever, and cool breeze, and you know, you would pick up sticks, would learn to break them up, and you count with those. Those are our counters, sticks and stones and the tops of the bottles. That was a big part of learning. That was our counters. We didn't have the fancy things, at least in primary and basic school. The more privileged children had other things, but you learned your basic things from the sticks and the stones.
Yeah.
And the easel was on the back, they had an easel which they would take out with a blackboard, and you'd break a stick and you would use it as a pointer. It was quite exciting. And I enjoyed that.
No, but I could see you teaching the little ones or the others.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was great. School. It was good.
Thank you, Cheryl. It was very interesting speaking to you today. You've been truly inspirational, and I wish you the best of luck for the future.
Your slippers on. Come make we go for a walk in Jamaica. Come make we go for a walk in Jamaica. I said, put your shoes on. Come make we go for a walk in Jamaica. Hey, sunshine bright when you walk in
This is Cheryl
Jamaica.
Kelly
You
on
feel so
5
sweet
Eyes
when you walk in. We have town and country and beach in Jamaica. Everywhere rushing but Jamaica walking. People laughing and people talking. Sweet joke when you walk in Jamaica. You see the abs when you walk in Jamaica. You see the abs when you walk in Jamaica. You see real life when you walk in Jamaica. It can be sweet. Walk in Jamaica. Chorus board, take it down. Sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica.